You don't ever listen to me. If your wife's saying this, this video is for you. If you want to become a better listener and increase intimacy in your marriage, but you don't know where to start, I'm sharing 3 listening skills that can transform your marriage. Hey, I'm Matt Kessler. I'm a pastor, and I've been married for 24 years. And I've also been a terrible listener. It hurt my wife, and it stifled my marriage. Ready to get out of the doghouse and into the love nest? Let's get started. Be sure to stay to the end because I've got a bonus best practice that's made a huge difference for my marriage, and I know it's going to help you too. Hey y'all, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Matt, and I provide gospel guidance to encourage and equip pastors and leaders like you to thrive in your spiritual, emotional, and relational health. You can get started by downloading my free guide, 7 Keys to Balance Your Personal and Ministry Life. I'll leave the link below. The first listening skill to transform your marriage and become a better Christian husband is to step into her world. Okay, let's say you've been killing it all day at work, pouring yourself out, making decisions, solving problems, setting direction, and leading well. And then it's time to go home. And so imagine as soon as you walk in the house, your wife starts going off on things that she's excited about, worried about, upset about, and it's a lot. She's had a great conversation with someone. She wants to put some dates on the calendar. Something's broken. The kids are hungry and complaining. The dog just peed everywhere. And all you want to do is block out the noise, be by yourself for a while, and honestly, do nothing. Bro, in the past, I would have just tensed up and shut down and pretended to listen. So I had to learn to step into her world. I had to learn how to take a deep breath and put myself in her shoes. I had to humble myself by turning away from me and turning toward her. It's so hard at first, but it helped to imagine, okay, what's her day been like? Where does she need immediate relief? What's the best way to serve her right now? It's so not natural. I mean, the desire is to come home and not have to lead, not have to solve problems, not have to give direction, and not have to pour yourself out because, let's be honest, you don't have much left. But guys, leadership doesn't stop when you leave the office and go home. Your leadership just changes context. You still need to show up with all your God-given personality and gifting and strength because your wife and your family are your primary ministry. Love is not proud. Love listens. Love enters her world. And love seeks to serve. Okay, the second listening skill to transform your marriage and become a better Christian husband is to genuinely track with her. It's like this. When you're looking for a downed deer or a bird, or you're going after that golf ball that you just sliced horribly, what do? You engage search mode. You know what I'm talking about. You think about the sequence of events. You connect the dots of how one thing led to the next, and you create a sort of map in your mind's eye to help trace the steps to get from where you are to what it is that you want to find. And the same thing is true for listening to your wife. You've got to engage search mode and track her. Earlier this week, my wife was visibly upset. I could tell she was. And so I gently approached her and I asked her how she was doing. And she began to share all the things that were on her plate, all the things that she needed to do. And there were 5 things on her calendar that she needed help with. I said, absolutely. Which one? And she didn't even know because she was so frozen with overwhelm. So I asked her to explain them to me. And I took the first 2 that I could do. And then she started crying. Why? Not because she had so much to do, but because she felt so alone. And by genuinely coming alongside her, listening to her with my heart, and sharing her burden, I was being a good teammate. And she ceased to feel overwhelmed. Y'all, she would have never come to me and said, I feel so alone, please help. I had to track her. Love is not distant. Love is not aloof. So don't lose her by being too busy or distracted or impatient. Y'all, she is worthy of your time. Follow where she's going. And when you find it, I promise you, it will be worth it. Because what you're ultimately finding is a part of her life, a piece of her heart that she wants to share with you. And that's more rewarding and a better prize than anything else you were already doing. So engage, search mode, and listen until you find her. The third listening skill to transform your marriage and become a better Christian husband is to reflect back to your wife what you've discovered. Effective listening doesn't mean you have to solve a problem. You don't have to fix anything. In fact, the number one reason why we don't listen to our wives is because we think that we're going to get drawn into a situation that we don't have the knowledge or the energy to resolve. So we defend ourselves, we shrink back, we withdraw, we go passive. And y'all, that's crazy. That's the opposite of love. Last week, I met with a distressed client, and he was struggling with his wife's need to vent all of her emotions with him as soon as he walked in the door from work. She was struggling with several key relationships in her life, and she was afraid of more loss. And he felt overwhelmed by her sharing, especially when her anger roiled up, which stirred up his wound of rejection and caused him to withdraw. So I asked him, why do you think your wife wants to share all this stuff with you? And after working through it for a while, he realized something really important. He realized that his wife was trusting him, especially with her bigger and more difficult emotions. His wife was being honest and vulnerable with him and inviting him to be her strong and safe place to come apart, especially after holding herself and all the other relationships together. So what felt like rejection was actually an invitation to listen and to love. He realized that of all the people on the planet, his wife chose to share her heart with him. And when he realized that, his entire countenance changed. He felt honored, and tears began to stream down his face. And he smiled with a newfound commitment to be her safe place by being a supportive listener. So we discussed some simple phrases he could use to help her feel seen and heard, like, I hear you're really angry with, and when they did that, it sounds like you were. And by saying back the things she was sharing with him, he created connection with her and expressed care for her. Y'all, love is not defensive or rude. And like love, listening is about being generous and kind. It's about honoring our wife. When we grasp what she shares with us, we honor her willingness to be vulnerable. When we're able to summarize and speak back to her what we've heard her say, we honor her desire for us to be the safe and secure place that she comes whenever she's anxious, afraid, sad, or angry. Okay, here's the bonus practice I promised. When you replace the word love with the word listening in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-5, here's how it reads. Listening is patient. Listening is kind. Listening does not envy. Listening does not boast. Listening is not proud. Listening does not dishonor another. Listening is not self-seeking. Listening is not easily angered, and listening keeps no record of wrongs. Jesus is the best listener in the universe. Why? Because his heart is full of love. And here's the great thing. Jesus promises to pour out his love into your heart and make you more like him. So if you want to become a really good listener and love your wife well, ask Jesus for more of his love in your heart so that you're able to listen to her like he does. Listening is about connecting, not solving. Listening is about finding her, not fixing her. It's about being with her and giving her a calm and comforting place to be. It's about showing you care how she's celebrating or how she's hurting. Listening shows your wife that you're with her and you're for her. That's what listening does, because that's what love does. Hey, check out this next video, How a Pastor Effectively Confronts Difficult People, Hard Conversations Made Easier. Click the link below. And please give this video a like and be sure to subscribe.